Hey y'all, it's Chris with Rockin Farm. Before I jump into this too much, y'all, please click that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Click that little ringy bell so that you get the notifications when a new video comes out. And make sure you take the time to stop by rockin8farm.com and see what we've been up to on the farm. So in this particular video, I want to talk about all of the things that are farm related that we accomplished in 2020. So 2020 was a huge year for us in the garden. There were some things that we knew that we wanted to accomplish. And you know what? It's not perfect. I wish I would have been forward thinking in a few things, and I'll explain that a little bit more here in a second. But prior to 2020, the very first year that we moved in the house, the very first year we gardened in 2019, we had two 10-foot by 4-foot beds, a few buckets along the fence, and a small patch where we planted some walking onions. And that was the total of the 2019 garden. So it was roughly 100 plantable square feet. Coming into 2020 during the winter and early spring months, we just went gangbusters. And we added more than 400 plantable square feet to the garden. That included, let me see, 2 3x8 beds, 2 4x4 beds, a 3-foot by 10-foot bed, moving 2 of the 10-foot by 4-foot beds and just kind of going to a mounded system where they had been, and then putting in 3 big long 4x16 beds and like tripling the amount of buckets that we were growing in. So we ended up going from about 100 plantable square feet to roughly 500 plantable square feet over the course of one season. Now, one of the things that I was really proud of is I knew that with a garden that was 5 times the size of the existing garden, there was no way that I could come out and hand water it. So we put in the irrigation system. The irrigation system has been an absolute lifesaver. Now, what do I wish I'd done a little bit different? I didn't have the money at the time to put in an actual automatic system, you know, valves hooked to a clock. I didn't have the money to do that, so I just put in this manual system. I wish I would have thought ahead as far as going to an automatic system someday. Well, I've got one pipe that runs into my garden and branches off. So I'm going to have to, when I do go to an automatic system, kind of uncover the pipe that goes into the garden, let it go to about 3 or 4 of the beds, but then cut it, cap it, run a new pipe up to connect to the existing pipe, let that run to 3 or 4 more beds, cut it, cap it, run a third pipe in that same trench. I wish I would have just laid all the pipe in the trench and had it set up so that when I was ready, all I had to do was come in and plug in some valves. I didn't do that, so it's going to be more work down the road. But when we expand into the new garden area, I think I'll try to keep that in mind. Another big accomplishment is what we did to our orchard this year. So coming into 2020 and 2019, we had 2 apple trees and 2 apricot trees, and that was the total sum of our orchard. So during 2020, whether it be in the early spring, late winter of 2020, so like January, February, March, or whether it was like October, November, December in the fall of 2020, we ended up adding 5 elderberries, 5 Hanson's bush cherries, 2 more apple trees, 6 peach trees, 3 different varieties, 2 each, and 2 nectarine trees. So, I mean, we took our orchard from 4 fruit-bearing plants up to 24 fruit-bearing plants. So, I mean, multiplying the size of the orchard 6 times in 1 year, when you think about it from that perspective, you realize what an accomplishment it is. Obviously, the orchard is still very small, but it is growing. And while we're on the orchard, I guess I can talk about another accomplishment that we had. So 2020, we actually got together with our local farm service agency. We got our farm number, we got our track number, so we're officially a farm. After we got the farm number, then we were able to go down to the county and, you know, get a DBA or a doing business as. So Rockin Farm is officially a business in the county that we live in Texas. So we were able to open up a bank account under the name Rockin Farm, and now we can officially do business as a farm. We're in a good position going into the next year. I think the last thing that we added that's kind of related to that, and I know I said orchard, it's coming back around. I promise y'all, it is coming back around. We got our website up and running, And the cool part about the website is that it kind of gives me a place to put all my stuff instead of having stuff scattered all around. So I still got all the stuff scattered all around as backups, but now I've got kind of a centralized place where I can see all my pictures that I've posted on Instagram over the years, and so can you. I can see all of my YouTube videos that I've posted over the last couple of years, and so can you. It gives people an opportunity to hit the website and learn a little bit more about my family. We went into details about like where the farm is from, or where we came from, how the farm got here, all that good stuff. So I liked putting up the website. The other part that we launched was our dedicated tree program. I was just thinking about it one day and I was like, you know what? People dedicate all kinds of stuff. I thought about that and I said, you know what? Trees are amazing. Trees give us food, trees give us medicine, trees clean our air, trees clean our water. They're this amazing thing. So why not give people an opportunity to dedicate a tree to somebody? And that, you know, helps us grow our farm. I'm not gonna lie, you know, there's that piece of it in there where it is benefiting towards the farm, but it benefits the environment. And since our farm will be open to the public at some point, people will always have the opportunity to come see their tree as it grows over the years. So the planted tree program is something I'm really excited about, and I do think that at some point it really is going to kind of take off, help us build our orchard, and help others feel like they're doing something good for the environment and good for local communities. Another big accomplishment for us in 2020, and this is kind of garden related, I would say, is that seed starting system that we put together. What I'm gonna have to do for the seed starting system is post a link up here for you, because I don't really have much going in my seed starting system right now because it's not time to start seeds, but we will definitely be putting together some videos when we do start seeds right around Valentine's Day this year. So, I mean, it's basically plastic cups, but you buy them once and you use them a bunch of times until they're no good anymore. We're talking several years. So the only annual cost once you make the initial investment is potting soil, y'all. I mean, other than that, it's a self-watering seed starting system with automatic lighting. I can literally put seeds in soil, walk away for the better part of 6 weeks, and come back to plants that are ready to start. The only things I have to do is watch water levels and then raise the lights as the plants grow. That's the only input from me once I get everything planted. So that was a huge accomplishment. We're really looking forward to getting that going again this year. 2020 was a huge year for us as far as just beautifying the farm. You know, I mean, we were getting ready for a wedding. That wedding has been postponed into further into 2021, but you know, that was glad that I had that as the push, because when you can step back and see how much prettier your property looks because of the neglect that you have cleaned out of the property, it's really a big morale booster to keep the other things going. So that's something we're going to continue to work on into 2021 as well. But we accomplished a lot of beautification projects in 2020. Another big accomplishment, I would say, was that we ran our first run of meat birds this year. It was the first time that we had done the meat birds. We learned a lot about them. I think we have a little bit different plan going forward, and I'll talk more about that when I get into our 2021 goals. But we ran the meat birds, we processed the meat birds, you know, we filled the better part of a freezer with these meat birds, and it's just nice to know that you have the ability to grow out your own food. So now we just need to kind of figure out the sustainability part of it, and I think we've got a good idea for that going into 2021. And I would say one of our last, I'm sure there was others, but we just, you know, Jess and I jotted some stuff down on paper. Another big accomplishment that happened right at the tail end of 2020, like it couldn't have been any more at the tail end of 2020, but we added additional livestock to the farm. So December 20th of 2020 is when we picked up our feeder piglets, and I'll tell you what, we could not be happier with these little pigs. They grow well, they're happy pigs, they have a great temperament. We're really looking forward to working with the breed more, but that was a big accomplishment for us too, was furthering that preparedness, you know, because once these two pigs butcher, and it's going to be relatively late into 2021 when they do, once these 2 pigs butcher, we're going to have to buy a freezer that's going to be dedicated just to the pork, that is going to fill that freezer. And you know, when I think about it, y'all, because I know there's stuff that we left off the list. I know there's stuff that we accomplished in 2020 that didn't make it on the list. But so when I think about everything that we did get done, everything that did make it on the list, y'all, that's a lot. I mean, we did a lot of work in 2020 and we got a lot accomplished. And the amount of input from us from a financial standpoint was relatively minimal compared to what we're going to get back out of it. So I mean, I really couldn't be prouder of us for the things that we accomplished on Rockin Farm during the 2020 calendar year. So now we had to really think about what we want to do going forward, and a lot of our goals are kind of centered around that being more sustainable, and setting ourselves up for a position where we're prepared for things like job losses, etc. So a lot of our goals for 2021 are kind of centered around like food sustainability and income sustainability. By starting a business, you have an opportunity to take your existing house, like even if you live in a suburban neighborhood, once you start a business and you can start writing off square footage in your house for a home office, then that's when your home is starting to make money for you. So we want to make sure that this property is starting to make money for us. So one of the things that we're going to jump into in 2021, at least we anticipate doing so as of now, we really enjoy having pigs, and we didn't expect to enjoy it as much as we do. We like the Idaho pasture pig. Once you get them trained and moving and operating the way that you want to, they can get a lot of their feed off of pasture, which is really nice. So we want to use our pigs to improve our orchards, run them in electric fence in the rows between the orchards. But in addition to just having the pigs and the food sustainability, we're going to look into bringing a breeding pair of Idaho pasture pigs onto the farm in 2021. From those breeder pigs, sources of potential income and or food security, basically you breed your pigs, you get a bunch of piglets. The first thing you do is you separate out your breeding quality stock, and you make an attempt to sell them off as breeding stock. You get pretty good money for breeding stock. You know, I mean, the going rate for a breeding quality Idaho pasture pig across the majority of the country is somewhere between $400 and $500 a pig. From that point, you can sell them off as feeders. Here in Texas, feeder pigs are going for anywhere from about $100 to $150 a piece. Once you've got your breeders gone, once you've got your feeders gone, then what you're left with is either feeders you couldn't sell, feeder males you couldn't sell, or you've got your feeder females. Those are the ones that we grow them out, take them to the processor, get them processed, keep what we need for ourselves, and then sell off the rest. We think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go originally with a USDA processor so that we have the ability to sell the cuts. But even if we don't do that, if we just go with a state inspected processor, then we at least have the ability to sell half and whole hogs. So it's just we think it's going to be a good income opportunity for us. And if for some reason it just doesn't work out, we sell off the pig stock we have, recoup our initial investment, and it was a fun project. So, it's kind of one of those situations where we have a lot to gain and don't have a ton to lose. Another income project that we're looking at for 2021 is breeding out chicks. Chickens have gotten really popular lately. Even city folk want chickens. And the nice part about where we live is that we're not far from a major city center, and in the city of Austin, people are allowed to have backyard chickens. Also in the city of Austin, people they like the designer flocks. So what we're going to do is we are going to look into breeding kind of fancy chickens in a way. So they're Orpington breeds, but they are much higher end Orpington breeds than like your buff Orpington. I'll get into more specifics in videos down the road, but our thought process on the chicks is we could sell hatching eggs, we can sell day-old chicks, we can sell started pullets, and we can sell laying hens. And if we get to the point where we have a lot of nice big laying hens that just never sold, well, now we've got a meat source. So that's why I was saying that we were going to look at the possibility of doing something different as far as meat chickens in 2021. I don't know if we're going to run another batch of meat birds or not, because we may end up getting meat birds out of these egg layers if they don't sell. And that was part of the reason that we thought that this would be a good initial investment. Again, we get more eggs. So if we just collect eggs daily and toss them in the fridge, then we've just got more eggs that we can eat or eggs that we can sell. If we collect eggs daily and toss them in the incubator, then we are hatching out chicks and or selling hatching eggs, and then the process from there. If for some reason the chicks don't sell, we've got the pullets. If for some reason the pullets don't sell, we've got laying hens, because a lot of people don't want to put the effort into starting a chick, but they'll take a pullet. Or there's a lot of people out there that want a chicken that's already laying eggs. So we've got various places where we can make the sales. And if we hatch out a bunch of eggs and things just aren't selling, well, then we've just got another 16 to 18 egg laying birds for us, and that's fine too. So it was another one of those low risk, potential of high reward opportunities that we're going to dive into in 2021. Big goals for the farm in 2021 is getting the pasture fenced again. We took down part of an old rotten fence. There's still a lot of old rotten fence there. I want to get that entire pasture fenced in with good, new, high quality, gonna last me another 20 years fence. This fence has been up here since the 70s. It's just coming down now, 50 years later. So, if I can get 20, 30, 40 years out of another fence, then that's awesome. Part of the reason that we want to get the pasture fenced is because we want to look into the possibility of getting a steer on the farm. So we don't necessarily have enough acreage to support a cow all year long, but if we can get a steer in the spring, raise it out totally on grass, and then get it slaughtered before winter comes around and everything dies, and just repeat that cycle year after year, then that gives us some sustainability as far as meat and the possibility of being able to sell some of that steer off as well. So I don't know if we're going to add a steer to the farm in 2021, but we are definitely going to try and get the pasture fenced in 2021 in anticipation of getting ready for having a steer on the farm. I just mentioned the orchard when I talked about pigs. So I want to take the orchard that is existing now. It's 24 plants. Let's just call it 25. I want to multiply that times 3. So I want to get another 50 fruit-bearing trees and shrubs into the ground during 2021. That'll take us up to 75, and that's a pretty good start. With any luck, I'll smash that goal out of the park and get way more than 50 fruit-bearing trees on the property. We have a goal to add a bunch more garden space. In a way, I guess I kind of already accomplished this goal. And the reason I say that is because we've already added 3 new beds. So they're 4x16 beds, which is 64 plantable square feet apiece. So we added another 192 plantable square feet to the garden already in 2021. So I guess you can say I accomplished my goal already, even if we don't add any more. I've been clearing some land to add more. I hope to add more, but I do have a few other projects that kind of take a little bit of priority. And then also expanding the garden is going to have a decent expense to it, because I want to set it up to be prepared for automatic irrigation. So I'm going to need a lot more pipe and stuff than I did to do the original garden. Another goal that I wanted to accomplish during 2021 was to get power run out to my chicken coop. That's a goal we've already accomplished as well. So, it was just a matter of getting down to it and doing it, putting in a breaker, running an underground line. And now I've got, lights and electric plug-in for the fan in the chicken coop. It's making life a lot easier already. So again, that was another goal that my wife and I set for ourselves the first week of 2021. And then like the second week of 2021, I just got it done. So, we're already starting to check things off that list. And I think that's the way you do it. You just look, take your time, get your list, put your nose to the grindstone and get it done. I don't see anything on our list for 2021 goals that I don't think we can't accomplish. But we also know and understand that life happens, and sometimes it's just not going to work out. So for all the friends and family back home, this is what we've been up to. The people that actually care and are invested in our lives, that's what we accomplished in 2020. This is what we hope to accomplish in 2021. For the people that aren't necessarily invested in our lives, but you enjoy our channel and you enjoy following along with us, I hope you enjoy being a fly on the wall on Rockin Farm over the course of the next year and seeing these things get checked off the list. This has been Chris with Rockin Farm, and until I see you again, be happy and live healthy.